have our glory days, and at that time, both South Korea and Taiwan experienced like 8% of annual growth in GDP in real term, in that period of time. So this is the reason why we see these two countries were able to achieve universal health coverage. The second part is this political commitment. I think the similarity is NHI is viewed by both governments as this, one of the best vote-winning strategy by their ruling political party. Foreseeing in South Korea, 1987, this presidential election, and for Taiwan, 1995, this legislative election, in 1996, again, the presidential election. The ruling party also see this as one of the best vote-winning strategy. And in South Korea, and both countries actually kind of went through this soft authoritarian state to democracy. I think South Korea came a bit later than Taiwan, but at that time it was this former military general who was running for the president, and he felt like providing people the security of health care is one way to sort of legitimize his political support, and so that's that's sort of the background for that time. And also both countries somehow has this path-dependent expansion. South Korea started day one. Since the very first day they offered their employment coverage to the employees in the formal work sector. They have this scheme as low contribution, low benefit. So you pay very little and also give you very little. So they started off like low contribution, low benefit. And so when the public is outcry, they want to have a more benefit. The government was trying to calculate what do they have in hand. Then they realized this fact, even though the economy was looking good at that time, but expanding the population and the benefit coverage, will cost a lot of money, and they were afraid, that there will be financial crisis. So they were thwarted by this financial concern, and then they prioritize the population expansion over benefit expansion. So they would rather devote their resources to expand the coverage to more of the population, essentially the entire population, rather than expanding the benefits. And so that's kind of past dependence. And in Taiwan, it was almost politically infeasible to cut back on benefits. And the reason was that when Taiwan has labor insurance or government employee insurance, they already offer very comprehensive benefit coverage. And by carving out, so labor insurance and government employee insurance, they not only cover health, they also cover pension. So the pension part is not losing money, but the health part is definitely losing money. So they were using the money from the pension part to cover the health part. And so if you separate them out, then you will see there's a big deficit. And so the government sees that as a golden opportunity to sort of overhaul the health system and make the insurance scheme sort of solvable, to deal with this financial insolvency. And so they carve out the health benefit part from the labor insurance and government employee insurance and merge them into this single payer national health insurance program. And so people have to pay two premiums now. They already pay one, as labor insurance or government employee insurance. Now the health part is cut out. They not only have to pay for labor insurance premium, government employee insurance premium, they also have to pay for national health insurance. So the government was careful about, there's no way, they are already unhappy because they have to pay premium, and then so it's not possible to cut back on the benefits. So they would rather leave it as comprehensive as possible. So both are sort of, path dependence. The last part is really the design of insurance scheme. Neither of the program has this co-paying design, but by the time they set out to design the system, national health insurance experiment, the experiment which is the most well-known one in the States, led by Joseph Newhouse, who was my advisor at Harvard, who was here last week. And he is the guy who, so using this health insurance experiment, telling everybody you need to have a co-payment to minimize the moral hazard that people can possibly have. And so both of the scheme, when they start to plan for the national health insurance, co-payment was the key feature of the national health insurance. And so but they take a different route. South Korea, for every single physician visit, if you see a physician at a clinic, that's $5. But if you see a physician at medical center, that's $30. And for Taiwan, it's only 1.7 to 7. So we set out this we started with very modest co-payment scheme compared to South Korea. And this actually imposed a significant threat for people's access to health services. I will show you later. And for inpatient services, it's 20% copay in South Korea and 10% for Taiwan. So like I say, it actually results in differential access to medical institution. And let me show you this graph. So this is by levels of providers where people actually receive their health care. And the bar in yellow means it has reached statistical significance. So anything above 0, that's for rich. So concentrating on the rich. Above 0, concentrating on the poor. So what you have seen is that in South Korea, it's very pro-rich for tertiary hospital, meaning medical center, and it's very pro-poor in terms of a health center. So that tells you who in South Korea actually getting their care in the lowest level of a health center and who gets care at the highest level, tertiary care. So in South Korea, it's very pro. The rich people, they can afford, they can all end up at a medical center, where the poor people can only go to the health center. You also see that in Taiwan, but it's to a much, much less magnitude. If you look at, it's less than 0.05. And medical center, because they are all concentrated sort of in the urban center, so most likely, the rich people who live there can have a better access. And of course, the copayment is one of the important sort of determinant. So let me give you a quick summary. So what we have seen, or what we try to present in this paper, is that South Korea and Taiwan, they all achieve universal health coverage in an era when the economy is really good, booming economy. And both governments exerted, very strong political commitment. Without that, you don't get you don't get to where you are now. And then also they also follow sort of past dependence approach. It's just their path are very different from these two countries. And so the take-home message is what we have found is the design of the insurance scheme, make South Korea and Taiwan really diverge in terms of the magnitude of the financial risk protection they can offer to their citizens. So I will conclude my presentation today by saying, yes, we all love universal health coverage, and this has been promoted, all around the world by WHO and World Bank alike. And this might be a magic word. People love it, and because it really provides, good protection for people from in the case of unexpected illness. But it's not a cure-all panacea. By telling people we have everybody covered doesn't give people the effective coverage. What we think and what we have shown you is, the design of the insurance scheme coverage, as well as this, risk sharing mechanism, really matters and is the key to the success of the universal health coverage. So I look forward to your comments.